when we heard from China that there was a novel coronavirus, a lot of scientists that work in virology, and after seeing how fast it was spreading, we all, or at least in my laboratory and some of the other experts that I talked to, we all knew this was coming, right? Maybe we didn't know the extent of like the shutdowns in multiple countries, but we knew this was coming whenever China had to do it.
Okay.
Everyone was so surprised. There's still so much chaos going on outside, and there's still a lot of people not really grasping some of the things they can do to help people, which it just shocks me. I mean, we live in a town that is almost entirely scientists, or to a high degree, right? Maybe not entirely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Scientists, but I'm really shook. I honestly thought we were not gonna have panic shopping. We were gonna have hoarding of like toilet paper, because if you think about it, it doesn't make sense. You're not gonna go to the restroom more often just because you're home.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. So you have toilet paper that you're not gonna use. I mean, I saw people, like a family of 2 students, trying to carry like a gigantic like thing of sugar. When are 2 college students gonna be able to finish that?
Never.
But I understand why people do it, right? They want to buy to feel in control.
Yeah.
I expected better from scientists. And
it's a psychological thing, right?
I completely understand. And we were actually really shook. A lot of people in the lab or that work in this field, we were all thinking it was also our sense of self-entitlement a little bit, maybe our blindness, that we're still humans, that whenever we went to the store and it was time to actually like, oh shit, everyone already panic bought things, we had not that many things. In my case, I bought like 3 weeks in advance, like a bunch of like different meats and stuff that could be frozen down, because I knew this could happen. I didn't think it was gonna happen, but it completely caught me off guard with this city, this town, with our high population of scientists. They did it.
Yeah, so I would say my perspective was, and we did not really have a chance to go like coordinate like our own perception of this, but basically last week I say around, I don't know exactly when that changed. I mean, I have a reason, but basically all last week I was at the store almost every single day, just like buying incrementally, like I gotta take this, mm-hmm. Not like overboard, but like I started seeing people and reports about this stuff and shortages, and like I progressively saw less and less stuff mm-hmm. in the store. The thing that put it really in perspective was this one report that I read, I think on Wednesday last week from Italy, where I thought, okay, this is gonna get here very quickly and very badly. So I did not have like that kind of same 3 week in advance type of mentality. Okay, this is gonna come here. Maybe I was focused on other things too, but the amount of exponential growth in people's ability to buy things.
Yeah.
I was a part of that, so it did not catch me off guard as much because I was in the first, I guess, so like, the ramping up stage. So I saw that happen. So like when I came to the store on Friday last week, I was like, okay, there's no food. Those people were like panic buying like already. That's when already there was national emergency declared. So that was not surprising at all, like seeing empty shelves. But not 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, whenever, I was like, okay, whatever, it's not gonna come here. But then
and even, I mean, right now, SBP reacted really well, and some universities reacted really well about the shutdown and not allowing people out of their houses. So, for example, Riverside, University of California, Riverside, they already have had the minimal personnel and they already have everything ongoing. So then we knew that this was coming, the partial shutdown and everyone staying inside. Mm-hmm. But we are all very conscious that depends on how this weekend goes on the growth or new cases. Absolutely, by Wednesday, we're gonna have people not going out, not even for jogs and jogging anymore.
You mean next week?
Next week, Wednesday. If this weekend we don't see a significant decrease on the or not a decrease in number of cases, but a decrease on how many more cases we get every day.
Are you even considering this as a possibility? Honestly?
Yeah. Yes. If we're gonna have them, right? We were not ready. We should have say self-isolate 2 weeks before.
Sure. Yeah.
And we should have tested even before.
Sure, but do you realize it's my honest perspective? I ain't a virologist, but based on what I've read, it's gonna be growing for 3 more weeks, man. The amount of cases every single day is gonna grow more each day. It's not the rate. I don't think we're gonna go down anytime soon.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like that was the plan. South Korea was able to do it.
They had kids, man. And they I think, much more strict in terms of their social distancing policies.
Exactly, same with Hong Kong. They were able to do it. So I mean, yes, that's what I'm saying. Realistically, I don't think it's gonna happen, but that would be the minimum required for it not to happen. Honestly, I agree with you. I think absolutely by next week we're all gonna be inside, not go out even for run.
Yeah, there is no way it's gonna go down in 3 weeks. Even the amount of cases, because I don't know.
I mean, not the amount of cases, but I mean the rate that it's growing needs to slow down a bit.
No, it won't. It's not slowing down in Italy, and they've been.
It is. Yesterday they finally had a 13% instead of a 24%.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I have to. Yeah, the data. I didn't have a chance to look at the data yet, but
so that's promising. But still, I mean, they've been locked down for a week now.
Yeah, and this is. Somebody told me, I don't know, we had a discussion, 40 kits per San Diego County available per day. That's testing capacity.
Damn.
40. How much time will pass before people would be able to test?
Yeah.
Thermo Fisher, I don't know if you've seen this interview.
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw it? So that Mark Casper said 2 million per week during March, 5 million per week in April. By then, who knows how many people will have it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I'm still surprised, or maybe not a surprise. Just again, I think I'm a blind optimist sometimes. But it's surprising whether I know where you're coming from me. But,
from you specifically. Yeah.
Well, and it is surprising how still there's the spring breakers in Florida. They're putting maybe not them in danger right now. It may change, of course, but the data that we have out of China suggests that younger people don't have as much of a risk of getting seriously ill. They will get ill. This seems to be changing slightly in the United States.
Yeah. Italy was saying no. They have people 20 to 50 hospitalized and intubated. So
yeah, exactly. So that's why it's still not 100% known what's going to happen. But I mean, these kids still have a family, still have grandparents that if now they're finally done partying and they go back, they could have and it's going to be their own fault. Even yesterday, right, we have one of the grad students in our common grad student thread commented that he thought people were reacting.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that.
Yeah,
I didn't say anything, but I let the other people explain to him that this is the case. But I think you could be forgiven in this day and age to an extent, just playing devil's advocate. Like there is quite a lot of information out there. It's like an overload of things to go through. I mean, even something like test kit availability or just like the amount of cases, like this it just gets lost in the amount of information that you have to process at any given time, especially now. Yeah. So, I mean, but yes, speaking of not really believing anything or something like that is, Jared Leto emerging from a. Do you see?
Oh yeah, what the hell is with that? I don't know what.
I don't know. It's just too crazy.
I mean, that's another thing, right? How I said that I was seeing some people complain that how is it that all of these NBA players are getting tested?
Oh, well. So my concern was first, what about Idris Elba getting it, where he said no symptoms.
Yeah.
So apparently, then I read, or I just remember hearing that like he was in contact with somebody who was tested positive. That's why he was able to get the test before he got any symptoms. Because otherwise, I was like, that's entitlement. You can't do that.
Yeah. Yes.
You can't be entitled to having a test just because you have money.
Yeah. No. Exactly. I mean, it's Idris Elba. We must protect him.
Yeah. I mean, same with Tom Hanks. You gotta,
Yes. I mean, NBA players. I mean, I can live without basketball. I don't care.
Same.
Yeah. So, to Paloma's credit, one of the other grad students, it was really good the way he explained why it's necessary to slow down, because it's not that everyone is going to die out of the disease, but
no, definitely
people not getting. I mean, the fact that the governor of California asked for the Navy ship, the hospital ship.
I saw that.
Because, yeah, they need a space for critical patients for car accidents, strokes, normal stuff.
Yeah, here. Oh, that's what they want to repurpose that ship into for exactly. Regular stuff.
Exactly. So they can. That's what I was hearing yesterday on NPR was reporting on it. That's why, because it would be an isolated place in which the people would not get infected, particularly when suffering.
More concerning to me, based on what his recent remarks, was the fact that he was projecting 25 million people getting the thing. That's a bold claim. As in, it's not unrealistic. It's just very bold to say that.
The other thing that surprised me is that he said August.
Well, I mean, consider, until you account for every single person who has it, nobody's really safe.
Well, yeah. I mean, the other issue is, do we have medical supplies to go until August?
Do we?
No, absolutely we don't. I mean, just the mask, the special like
N95.
Yeah, exactly. The mask. I mean, we don't have enough. And today I was on my way to the grocery store trying to find potatoes, essentials, of course. I saw this guy. I mean, you've seen the mask, right?
I wear it in the lab sometimes. Yeah, I'm aware of how it looks.
Exactly right, and you have the double strap that you need to put completely covers your mouth.
Yeah, you have a nose guard too.
Exactly. Yeah. So we use the same for the police. Sometimes we need to use them. But today I was on the street and I saw like this random guy just walking around it, and I mean, you know that the mask is uncomfortable. Right, it gets really hard, and particularly if you need to use it for daily activities, it's just uncomfortable. Yeah. So the guy, instead of having the double band and completely sealed, removed one of the bands, and the whole bottom part was just flapping up and off while he was walking. I mean, that is a complete waste of resources and mass.
I agree.
And I mean, imagine like he's one person, but I'm pretty sure a lot people are doing this are not trained on how to use this mask.
My bigger question is like, at which point? I mean, I could see a number of cases where regular people would need that kind of mask, but stop. They really, who really needs a healthcare people, definitely.
Exactly right, and I mean,
I guess not concern in that case, but I mean, their mandate is to use it. It's a single-use thing. Which I get for protection purposes and everything, but honestly, they could probably amend that to at least like 2 use cases or something, like, right? Because they're gonna otherwise run out like even quickly, like even more quickly than they would otherwise. Because I think that's the point. Like you got to relax them a little bit. I don't know if they have already started doing that. I'm sure in Italy they're like so desperate they'll. As a matter of fact, I read that they were using them. Those masks, because they cannot even, there's no more masks.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they're gonna start doing that.
Yeah. Triple M, the company that is that produces them, they said they're trying to ramp up production, but they can just not keep up with demand.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs them.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Ford and GM were thinking on starting to use their factories to produce ventilators.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
As they should. as they
Yeah,
should.
they were still on the consideration stage, right? It was CNBC reported earlier today.
Well, ventilators is a whole other kind of ball game. I think they're very tricky to make and even trickier to operate. And
Yeah,
that's like, even you have enough ventilators, if you don't have enough staff to operate them, that's the dangerous part.
yeah, exactly.
because
Yeah.
because they're apparently very tricky, and you have to be like trained anesthesiologist or something like that to really know how to operate that.
Well, I'm talking about like false information, right? Yesterday I myself was sharing incorrect information about the chloroquine, the new drug that Trump was saying that it works, that it has been approved for FDA.
Yeah, anti-malaria drug. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that was because he said it in a conference immediately, like the second he said it, newspapers put it out saying that there was a new treatment, and I was like, oh my god! Like I sent it to Nicole is works with chloroquine actually for some other functions in cancer. And I was like, look, it was approved, and then 30 seconds later, it was false information.
Yeah.
The FDA person right after Trump saying that is going to clinical trials now. It's actually not approved. It's approved.
Yeah, there is some. To be fair, there is some possibility that it may be useful, but it's a process. So in the words of the person who spread that, fake news.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it took 30 seconds for what I saw from reliable sources to become fake news.
Yeah, on the account of spreading misinformation. I was guilty of that a little bit earlier about I don't know if you've seen this, the 10-second breathing exercise to confirm if you have it or not.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, that's not how that works.
Yeah. So I was guilty of that too. I tried it. It seemed reasonable, but apparently, though, it was communicated through some kind of Stanford something. That's why it got traction. But Stanford came out and said, guys, this is total bullshit.
Well, again, that is very, very important to keep in mind, right? That even experts were still trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
Like scientists and everyone else. So, and the issue now is that information gets expressed so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something that you thought was correct for a second that had big validity behind it. It immediately becomes false.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Even how long it can be on the surfaces.
Yeah.
Or higher. Speaking of higher temp, there was a report by AccuWeather, the one that reports the news. They were saying, oh, there is some paper, I guess, in preprint or something like that, not peer reviewed yet, looking at the correlation of the temperatures and the humidity. So in China, I guess, in different cities, and the amount of cases. And they found some statistical correlation that the warmer and maybe drier, or I don't know exactly what, had less cases than the northern parts of China, or something like that. AccuWeather tried to get some, I guess, some comments from some experts. Nobody commented on that. So, but hence the report is out there. You could think, okay, AccuWeather. What are they gonna do? They're reporting what they see.
But regardless, that's a really good point. Because there's some viruses that survive better in more humidity or other stuff, right? So I understand what they're trying to think. The problem is you also need to consider how much good information you're getting out of China.
That's true.
And how, for example, I will believe more if they try to do this in Italy, right?
Yeah.
Track the spread, and also you need to take into account that some cities just have more people traveling there, and that's why you may have more than other places.
Yeah, you could be an idiot and say, oh, it's concentrated in northern Italy, it must be colder there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you got to be careful how you can see. I'm sure Trump would love it. He would be like, okay, that's exactly what I've been telling.
Yeah, exactly.
Warmer climate will help, which is
but that's a really good interesting thing to discuss, right? How even scientists, and don't hold it against scientists or experts, when they get something wrong, particularly right now, because that's exactly how science works, right? You put a hypothesis out there, you try to test it. If it fails, and most of the time, no one ever finds out that it failed.
Yeah.
Right? You have a solution, then you show it.
Yeah.
But there's a huge spotlight in everything scientists say about coronavirus, and everyone wants them to be right immediately. There's a huge burden for scientists to be correct, and even for us, right? Like you feel bad, like, ah, crap, I just share misinformation, and I'm trying to tell everyone and my family and my grandpa not to share misinformation. Actually, this is my fourth lockdown.
Fourth what?
Fourth lockdown that I've been in my life. This is quite interesting. I makes me feel alive again.
Okay, I have to say this is my first lockdown, and I'm not looking forward to doing that again. On that note, a bit of levity on the account of lockdowns. In Russia, we have a kind of a superstition that how you greet the new year, this is how you're going to spend it. The new year.
How did you greet the new year?
I greeted my new year in this apartment with my girlfriend, and I said to her, I do not want to leave the house. I said, I don't want to go to any bar. I just want to spend this time with you. And here we are.
It is your fault. There you go.
I take blame for the spread of coronavirus. That's, I think, or at least the quarantine in California. I think this is on me.
Your dream.
My desire was too strong.
There you go.